another episodic podcasting adventure. It's TAKEOVER.
What is that, my brother? What is that, my brother? Wrestling? What did I do this past weekend? I did drink this weekend, but it's February. So, and I was good about it. I mean, I wasn't hungover the next day. So it seems like my January off has done what it's supposed to do. No, I'm going to continue. We'll see where it goes, but no, I think it should be all right. That's it. That's the point. Oh, really? Well, if you beer every day though.
Tonight I'm having like 2, maybe 3 a night. But over time, obviously, it takes its toll. We're getting old. I think that's the summary. We're old as balls, guys. Take care of yourself. And I don't know. I guess that's about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had a big week. We got NXT Portland coming up.
Yeah, that creeped up. NXT Portland. We have the Saudi Blood Show coming up as well too soon. Elimination Chamber's not too far out either. A lot's going on in wrestling. And we have a lot to cover tonight, man. We have a lot to cover. And man, this winter's been brutal. We got hit with like a shit ton of snow last week, close to 50 centimeters. And then again, early this week, got hit with some more. So we got lucky up until now, but we're starting to feel it, the snow. And I'm about done with it. I think we're close to March and we can see the spring on the horizon, but man, it can't come soon enough.
Yeah, the snow is a lot. There's a lot of fucking snow. It's not stopping. There was a shitload of snow again today, so a little shitty.
Yeah. I ended up working from home just because I was busy. I got caught up, and then I was like, damn, man, I'm going to have to go out and shovel out my car. So screw it. I'll wrap up from home. Uh, Usually it could be a bit more relaxing, but today it wasn't. I'd rather be in the office because I can actually be more productive. So busy week. I got my client coming down next week on Tuesday, and I might have to fly out to Louisiana again. So Louisiana, but we'll see, guys. Yeah, it's been busy, man. Life's been busy. Been throwing me curveballs, lots of exciting things, and 2020 is quite the year.
Well, we are live. We're on video. We're on YouTube right now. Working out the kinks, that's for sure. I know that Dez's audio wasn't included when we started this, but I got you on there. So I just want to make sure that we're not lagging. So if anybody is in the chat, just let us know. But otherwise, I think we're rolling okay tonight.
Cool. Small steps.
Small steps. That's what it is. But I'm operating 2 different computers, so it's like a complete mindfuck. I got 3 screens. 2 belong to one mouse. The other to the other screen for the other mouse. So I am going to look around. So bear with me while I figure this out. But yeah, Portland on the horizon. Blood Show on the horizon. Des, tell our listeners where they can find us.
Sure, guys. Give us a follow on Twitter at _Talkamania. Make sure to check us out wherever you get your podcast. The Kicks, iHeartRadio, Google Play, iTunes, whatever it is, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Subscribe, 5-star, tell your friends, be a Talkamaniac, and Google us, man. You'll find us everywhere.
Yeah, and also Full Press coverage, Full Press Radio. That's on Twitter at Full Press Radio, FPC_wrestling. You can check them out there. Patreon.com/Talkamania if you want to be a premium member of the show. We'll probably pop on after NXT. NXT Sat? No, it's Sunday.
Yeah, it's Sunday this
Oh,
month.
right. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, I could do a post show. Can you?
I can do a post show. I'll be watching NXT Takeover. I think so. I think I'll be around, and I think I'll be watching it, and I think I'll be having a good time. So let's do it. It'll be fun.
Okay, so we'll do that for Patreon. So if you want to hear stuff like that, join our Patreon. We do it pretty much after every live event. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes we don't. Most of the time, Dez doesn't wear clothes. And if we're doing video at the same time, that's always interesting to see.
Damn, can't get away with that anymore. You're gonna see my nip nips.
Yeah, nip nips. And of course, if you want to buy some merch like you see Dez wearing right now, that's one of our retro summer tees, prowrestlingtees.com/talkmania. You could check them out there. And this is our first sponsored episode, our first sponsored podcast episode of all time. So later in the show, we got some ads to run. It's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to it. But let's jump in the thick of things. We will end the show tonight with our NXT TakeOver Portland predictions. So let's keep NXT for the end. Let's start off with Raw. I didn't watch it live, but as soon as it finished, I got a text from Dez saying that main event was fucking amazing. You have to check it out. The next day at work, I actually took like a good hour of lunch and watched Raw in 1 hour. Usually I watch Raw in 20 minutes. So I watched it. It was a fucking hell of a main event.
Yeah, did you actually watch the whole main event or like the last half of it? Yeah, it was great, man. I felt like, those people who love those AEW matches, like especially with the Young Bucks and Omega, that's like spot, 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 spot. I just felt like there were so many spots and it was very fluid and the refs were in position, counting properly. So it was.
Yeah, that doesn't happen all the time in AEW. So
even this week too in AEW too, there was some ref stuff we'll talk about a bit later. But either way, I did enjoy AEW as well this week. I actually watched it today, and I watched NXT while I was working, so I managed to catch up on it before the show. But the main event was really good. And Kevin Owens, having him involved is great. Samoa Joe's been fantastic, and I'm digging the Monday Night Messiah as well too. I think these guys were able to put on a solid main event, and I think sometimes WWE loses sight of, they give us those promos, they give us those backstage segments, like who's Lana sleeping with this week. But sometimes we just want a fucking good wrestling match, and the main event of Raw this week was one of the best main events I can remember all year. Well, I guess that's not a lot to say because it's only February, but
still,
maybe within the past year timeline.
Easy. That's for sure.
The unique finish too. Joe was putting him in the coquina clutch, and then he ended up getting getting the curb stomp. It was
actually that finish was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Murphy, though. That curb stomp looked like it hurt Buddy Murphy.
Even the stunner too that he took at 1.2 Murphy did like a flip. Like the stunner was nice. I don't know, man. I liked it. It was a good main event, man. So the main event of Raw definitely hooked me. That actually maybe we'll go through the matches as like the what happened in wrestling this past week, going over both Raw, SmackDown, AEW, NXT. But off the top of my head, I think that was my preferred match this week.
Ooh, that's Dez's pick. Look at that. That's pretty
offhand.
Rare.
We'll see. We'll see where we go.
Yeah, no, Monday Night Messiah is really starting to work for me, man. Like. Seth Rollins came out. He has that like little bit of a furry leather coat thing going on right now. He's got his hair tied up. It looks pretty cool.
His man bun.
The way that Kevin Owens comes out and it's just like, you sound stupid, you look stupid.
Yeah.
I like it because it is weird. It is hokey that just because he's the Monday Night Messiah, just because that's the nickname he's been given, it's not the name of the group. We figured this out. It's Seth Rollins' name, and it seems like the other dudes are his disciples. But the fact that he's being called the Monday Night Messiah doesn't mean that everything he has to talk about has to be about like leading people to the promised land and the truth. Like, can he just be the Monday Night Messiah and be cool Seth Rollins like a heel? Why does he have to be themed? It's silly.
It's true. It's true. He's trying to kind of be preachy, right? You're seeing that?
Yeah, it's a little bit like I forget which Far Cry it was. I think it was not the most recent one, but the one before. And it was like cult related, and the guy reminds me of like the cutscenes from that video game.
I love Seth Rollins as a heel. I've been waiting for this. Him and AJ Styles were the two I was waiting to become a heel again. We finally got it with Rollins. It wasn't the perfect execution, but he's good in a mic. I like listening to him more as a heel and cutting his heel stuff as opposed to being a face. I wasn't buying it, and I think people wanted to see this change. But I agree with you. I think him going out there and being preachy, it's not as appealing. I like it to be more organic, and I get that they give wrestlers scripts and they want them to hit certain topics and stuff. But to me, offhand, like, look, Kevin Owens is the kind of guy that can go out there without a script, and you can kind of tell. He just goes out there, he knows what to say, he's very direct to the point. And I think Seth Rollins has that ability too. But I feel like they're still giving him that script or going out there and telling him what to say. Or I'm not exactly sure because I remember, man, when he was the first run heel with J&J Security, like the promos, the coward that he was, like he's still kind of a coward. Like people come down and attack his disciples, and he jumps out the ring, and but we'll see. It's still fresh. It's still new. I like that they're kind of changing it up, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a religious man, so maybe it's just not hitting me. You know,
In the
it's not
penis.
hitting me where it's supposed to hit
In
me
the penis.
in my faith.
In your faith. Let's talk about Becky retaining over Asuka. You asked the question, what's next for Asuka? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But we had Shayna with the vampire bite, which was really weird. I don't know if you got to check it out on YouTube, but they grayed it out because of the color of red. Apparently, you're not allowed to have this on YouTube.
Can't show blood capsules? No.
I guess not. But what was weird is that when I saw it on YouTube originally, and then I went to check it on Raw, and I'm like, oh man, did they actually gray out when she did it on TV, kind of giving the allure that she's some sort of vampire? Because I know JR was talking about it. I'm like, dude, if they go in a direction where she's some sort of vampire, I don't know.
What do you mean Jared was talking about it? What was he saying?
Not JR, sorry, the King. The King called her a vampire. Like she pulled out the mouthpiece, and he said something along the lines of her being a vampire, and I was like, oh.
I think Becky also had said she's a vampire slayer. Thanks, Buffy. I'm gonna kick your ass. But okay, so let's rewind a little bit. Becky versus Asuka. All right, I got to get my 2 cents here, right? So no brainer. I'm not going to sit here and cry over it. We knew what was going to happen. We knew that Asuka was going to end up being the last debt or a debt that Becky needed to pay or get owed to her, paid back, whatever, all that shit. And we knew Asuka was going to lose. I was hoping she wouldn't take 2 clean losses, give her a little bit of oomph left in her, a little bit of strength, have maybe Shayna come out, cause a DQ, or Shayna comes out, or some kind of shit happens. But it was just like a rock bottom. She pins her. That's it. So I don't know if that's her new move. It's going to be one of her finishers.
Did make you salty because it wasn't even like she didn't make her tap.
No, she didn't. She just pinned her with like a regular move out of nowhere. And I seen her and Ember Moon go at it, and like the shit that Ember was pulling out on her and she was kicking out. Like, come on, man. So Asuka had to play a role, and she played it very well. I mean, I think they both made each other look really good. They're using Asuka, obviously, because she's a credible opponent.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the match they had was really good. The chemistry they had was really good. I know I threw out there kind of a tweet saying, like, oh, what happens here? This is the typical WrestleMania Barry job of Asuka. It's more like bitterness / joking around. I obviously know this isn't a Barry to Asuka. There's no shame in being in a program with Becky and helping Becky get put over.
It's a pretty good spot to be in.
But yeah, it is a decent spot. But the fact that they go to Asuka, they know she's solid, they know she's reliable, and then look at WrestleMania and are just like, okay, we'll just put you in a tag team program or we'll put you in a battle royale. It's like, well, if you trusted in her because she's so solid, why don't you kind of incorporate her maybe into a triple threat with Becky or something? I get it. I don't think the place is there to be there.
No.
I get it. I get it.
What is Shayna and Kairi saying that would be in those titles?
Well, here's the thing for me. I get this. It's a tough pill to swallow having her lose again, just like that. And to just a little rock bottom that she did, whatever. Now, my big thing is, where does she go from here, right? And that was the next question. So does she go into a program for the tag team titles at WrestleMania? So I hope so. And I guess that's the easy answer. But what's it going to be? Is it going to be her against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross and they lose the titles? Is it going to be against the Iconics and they lose the titles in some kind of joke match? I have to feel like if they go to WrestleMania, they're going to drop them finally at WrestleMania. So that is a little bit in the back of my mind as a worry. But hopefully they took a look at it last year and knew they kind of did Asuka dirty with having Charlotte take the title off her, being thrown in that battle royale, and maybe they'll do something a bit better with her. Obviously, they see the stock in her. They see that she can be reliable. So I hope they don't crap on her again this year at WrestleMania. Now, that aside, Shayna coming out, I felt like she could have kind of come down to the ramp, made a challenge, but she got right in Becky's face, beat the tar out of her and took the mouthpiece out. And I'm like, oh, now she means business.
I thought she was just going to talk.
Well, when she pulled up the back of her hair, I'm like, well, this is unique. Like, why would you bite the back of her neck? Like that it was a bit weird to choose the back of her neck. I found the blood.
So we couldn't see the scar.
The blood kind of looked unrealistic. It was clearly all over. It looked very watery. It was, But whatever. It's a family or a PG-14 show or whatever you want to call it. So it's not even 14. It's PG or whatever it is. So I get it. I thought it was a bit silly, but I also thought it was funny. And I had to think, did they look at the tooth gimmick that they did on AEW the week before and be like, oh, yeah, we'll one up you?
You think it had something to do with that?
No. But I mean, like, I just find it coincidental that, like, the week before they're knocking that girl's tooth out, there's blood. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to make our fucking superstar a cannibal. And she's going to fucking eat the woman's spinal column.
It was out of nowhere because Shayna Baszler, she never did anything like that in NXT.
She doesn't need to either. Like, she can legit beat, like, 95% of the roster on any day.
Yeah. It's a weird look for Shayna Baszler. If that's going to be part of her gimmick, it's weird. If it's a one-off, I think it works. She's sadistic. She wants to, cement her position on that roster. I'm just happy that I can't believe we're going to get Shayna Baszler versus Becky and Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. And like a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how it's going to be these 4 horsewomen for the rest of eternity.
So it is.
Yeah, but it's at least them against other people.
Yeah, but it's them in the women's main event, and we're getting that exactly this year too, right? So
yeah, but they're not in it with each other. That's a positive.
Yeah, but they're floating around the title picture, right? And like at the same time, it's like, okay, take a step back. Which other women on the roster are at their level? I get it. These women are solid. They're top notch. But I mean, okay, straight up though. Did you see Naomi this past week in their number 1 contendership match, or last week was it with Carmella?
No, I missed
it. Dude, she was fucking awesome, man.
Really?
She was awesome. For a woman who's been around so long,
Naomi's
I have to give her mass props. Because actually, I wouldn't say that was my match of the week, but like, dude, she was so good, Naomi, this week. And I was like, man, Jay was always talking up Naomi. I've always liked Naomi, but she did not get rusty at all. And she did a great job. And it looks like they're going to be lining her up for a title opportunity against Bayley. But I have to imagine, because Carmella won. She won that the Fatal 4-Way or whatever it was for the number 1 contendership. And I think the match is this coming Friday on SmackDown. It's tomorrow, I guess, or by the time you listen to this. So I imagine, okay, Bayley's going to retain over Carmella. And then I think we're going to go to the Elimination Chamber, and we'll probably have Bayley versus Naomi. And then that will be Naomi being run through. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to have probably the inevitable Sasha versus Bayley match, which
I hope so.
More 4 horsewomen, right?
Yeah, but we haven't seen them at Mania, and I'm down to see them at Mania.
The only thing I have about that, and there's a little bit of salt there, is this girl came back from hiatus. It's cool. I'm okay with that. She came back, blue hair, had a great match with Becky. Was lined up to have a feud with Lacey. Has this mystery injury where I believe it's legit. Maybe they're keeping her off because it's concussion related or something. But if it's like an ankle or something, like she should still be out there. Like she's still being paid, right? Like if you look at the past year, like she's been there like 20% of the year getting paid most likely. And
but
whatever.
She's probably getting paid by insurance.
It doesn't matter if she's getting paid or not. That's not the point here. For me, what bothers me the most is that it's somebody who's not even present during the road to WrestleMania and then will be put in a WrestleMania title match. That's kind of it. It's like, dude, just be there. Show up. Be at her side. Come to the ringside with a boot on.
Yeah, but it's not.
Be a coward.
I don't think that's her decision.
Weeks.
I don't think it's her decision.
Be a coward for a couple weeks and be like, don't touch me. And she can be funny. Make it comedic. Make her seem like a coward. And then eventually she like takes the boot off and turns on Bayley. Yeah, exactly. Right. Right.
We talked about this on Boot to the Bait, actually. How it's like we were talking about Andrade and how he's away and he's not dropped the title, and it was like, are you pro or against people that are away that keep the title? And this is what I brought up. I said, when guys get injured or women get injured, it's silly that they keep them off TV. Just have them do a different role. Have them backstage. Have them accompany them to the ring. Now, it might be some sort of insurance issue or liability issue that WWE just doesn't want to deal with, and maybe that's the factor. Like, well, hey, we cannot pay them, insurance pays them, and we could extend their contract, so for us it's best to have them off TV. That might be the case,
right.
But it's lame for us, man.
I don't know. I just think somebody that, I mean, like, throughout the year that's fine, but on the road to WrestleMania, if she is the one who's going to face Bayley, and I'm down. I think this match would be fantastic between the two of them. I'm totally locked in. Cool. Great. But have her be there now. Like, literally, she's sitting at home tweeting, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm a hater because I'm jealous. I would love to, not work all year and then get that bonus,
This would be the perfect opportunity for her to do some YouTube stuff. This is a perfect opportunity for WWE to be able to maybe pay them on a different level and have them recording some YouTube shit while they're not allowed to be on TV. Like free the delete.
Free the delete.
You're missing the chat, though. Chris Rucker said, guys, Sasha's injury is my fault. You'll know in 7 to 8 months when the announcement is made.
Oh, I'm telling your wife.
Okay, so let's skip around Raw and SmackDown. We got Goldberg issuing the challenge to The Fiend. This is going down in Saudi Arabia, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What the fuck are they going to do here? It doesn't seem like Goldberg comes back to lose. Honestly, I think this is a perfect opportunity to get that title off The Fiend. And I'm not going to say that he needs a repackage, but he needs to have a different feel to the vibe going on. So
interesting you say that.
It's time.
Because Goldberg's last win was against Ziggler at SummerSlam. Huge win, right? Demolished him, ran right through him. Now they might say, like, look, Goldberg, we own you. You're WWE talent. You got to go out there. We'll give you $1 million. You go out there, you're going to lose to The Fiend. Well, if they told me they give me $1 million to lose to The Fiend, I go out and do it. I'm sure Goldberg would do it too.
I do a shitload of stuff for $1 million with The Fiend.
So, yeah. Okay. Finger in the bumhole.
Hey.
Get
the blue chew ready, buddy.
I am hearing that they actually are considering, like you said, taking the title off of Bray Wyatt, and we're getting a Goldberg versus Roman Reigns main event
at Mania.
And yes, that is basically, it's either A or B. You're gonna get Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns, or you're gonna get Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. And they literally think that a lot of more people would be invested in Goldberg versus Roman Reigns, and that may be true. When I look at the two main events. When I look at the two main events, I'm like, really, could Goldberg hang in there in a long match?
It won't.
He's going to look clumsy. He's going to make mistakes. Roman will help him. But putting Roman in a short match doesn't really make sense to me. I think Roman versus Bray Wyatt does. I think Wyatt did a very good job with this gimmick, if you like it or you don't. I'm not the biggest fan of the Fiend, but man, like, he was relevant. Very
like the
big.
gimmick.
Dude, the gimmick, man. He made it his own. He did a very good job.
I haven't liked the
Considering WWE's terrible at their writing these days, I think Bray Wyatt's been doing a very good job. We were sitting here a year ago talking about Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family and how every promo he gave was the exact same promo, just directed at somebody else. But you could even just like listen to the promo, not know who he's talking about, and it's the exact same thing over and over. And he actually was able to recreate a character and do something different. I haven't totally hated his matches. The red light's a bit annoying.
It's gone.
But I don't know. Having somebody finally conquer him at WrestleMania is a lot better than somebody finally conquering him at Saudi, where people aren't as invested. And he won at Saudi too. So I don't know. I don't know how this is going to play out. I actually was disappointed because I thought Goldberg was going to be on SmackDown instead of calling in or videoing.
Is that what he did?
He came in from a gym. He's like working out or some shit. I still think there's more to be done with Bray, and I think if you take the title off of him this soon and against Goldberg at Saudi, like a kind of like a side event that like nobody cares about or half the universe cares about.
Actually, everybody cares about it a lot. They care about telling us that they're not going to watch it.
Well, I guess, but I think it's really going to hurt Bray Wyatt. I think it's really going to hurt him if you take the title off him and have it be Goldberg, this pretty much retired wrestler who isn't even a good wrestler, right? He's a gimmick.
Well, so is the Fiend is a gimmick, though.
Well, yeah, but he can wrestle.
Bray Wyatt can wrestle, and he's had great matches. I just don't get that feeling from Bray Wyatt that he's one of those dudes that it's like he'll finally be conquered at WrestleMania. He doesn't seem like he's a guy that needs to be conquered. Like, he doesn't have that unbeatable feeling like Brock Lesnar does. Brock Lesnar is a guy that people need to conquer. Bray Wyatt doesn't have that for me. So,
we don't see him enough. He's not on TV enough. He's not wrestling. And it's funny because they showed this past week Becky Lynch and Roman Reigns, I think, was there, kind of basically being representatives of the WWE. And I don't remember what the event was, but it's funny because you look at these PR events and Bray Wyatt's never there. So, I mean, I understand the whole niche. The Fiend, you don't want to bring him out there. He could be Bray Wyatt with the title. They did it in the beginning when he won the championship, or when he was going to win it. He went and did the weather. That was a lot of fun. But now it's like he's not being used. So you have to think, like, how is he viewed from the WWE? McMahon's been so fickle. I'm hearing McMahon is very less present when it comes to WWE live events and WWE shows themselves. He's kind of more focused on the XFL. So maybe at this point in time, they're going to take a shift elsewhere. well, we're going to have to wait and see. I honestly don't think that Goldberg's going to beat him. I think it's kind of like, Wyatt putting those crosses on the wall of the people that he's
Yeah,
beaten, and
Goldberg would
Goldberg
work
is
for
just going to
that.
be one of
Goldberg
them.
could work for that.
I think ultimately that's what it is. Like, look, man, like you've been around a while, you have your legacy, Hall of Famer. You had that big win over Ziggler. He'll do the spear, he'll
Big
do the
win over
jackhammer.
Ziggler.
The Fiend will kick out, and then like he'll find a way to beat Goldberg. It's gonna really make Goldberg look bad, though.
Yeah, I mean, if he kicks the shit out of him and we see some blood, I think Goldberg still walks out of there looking like, he went and did the job. And I don't think Goldberg, losing is really a bad look for him. I mean, the Fiend is unbeatable and Goldberg is fucking, getting old. So why the hell not? I think he's just a spectacle. It's going to be Saudi Arabia. He's getting a paycheck, and that's pretty much it. All right, let's talk about Drew McIntyre because I finally got to see what you were talking about. I missed Raw last week. He came out in a segment with MVP. I actually was enjoying the segment. Drew definitely has a different demeanor going on. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I hate it, though. I get that he's trying to, he's high-fiving the fans as he walks out. The one thing that really irks me, and you talked about it last week, is the 3-2-1 count for the Claymore kick. This can't be a thing. It doesn't work for Drew McIntyre. He needs to be a beast. Good or bad, he needs to be a beast.
Yeah, and that's kind of it, too. It's like we started to like him, and the momentum that he picked up going to the Royal Rumble was because he was a behemoth. He would just destroy people.
We liked him for those reasons. Don't change him on us now.
That's it. Don't change him on it now and change him into somebody that we're going to hate. Yeah. We're going to revolt against
because
he's just like
2.0 right now.
He's trying to be all nice, trying to be all friendly. Again, in the 3-2-1, I don't like it either, man. I remember playing SmackDown on PlayStation with you guys back in the day, and that big boot. We do the big boot out of nowhere, and that was my move. It come out of nowhere. Be wrestling, you'd be doing suplex, reversal, chair shot, this, and bam, big boot, pin, win, or knockout. And it was just out of nowhere. And I remember us sitting on the couch, we'd be like, oh. And now it's like 3, 2, 1. And it's funny because they're not doing the usual like stomp. Because you're like, no, that's been done. Let's be innovative here. Let's count down from 3, 2, 1. It's got to come out of nowhere. And that's the thing. And look, he eliminated Brock Lesnar with it out of nowhere, right? Why are they changing him up? After the Royal Rumble, they started really changing him up. And I love Drew. I used to talk about him before he came back to WWE, hoping he'd be back.
Drew Boner
when he did come back. Man. I got all wet. I've been talking about him so long since he's been back. Super excited for the guy. But please don't make me hate him. Don't change this around. I like, him kind of. I did like the segment with MVP. I kind of, got it. But have him have a side feud with somebody. Like, have him feud with somebody on the road to WrestleMania. Have him
feuding with fucking Brock Lesnar from now till Mania. Let's go.
I guess so. Yeah, give Lesnar a bonus. But I also think that maybe they're also being careful because these tall guys, these big guys with big long muscles, have a tendency to get injured. It's true. It's true, man.
Big long muscles?
It's true. Like the big long, I know that.
Big long legs or big long arms?
No. I mean, like, like the quads on their legs, right? Like, remember Big Cass, right? He got one over the top rope or whatever. He hurt his leg.
He's probably drunk.
And then Kevin Nash, like these guys hurt their legs. So it's like, I feel like with Drew, it's a possibility. So they're trying to make him, I guess, in tip-top shape. But I don't know, man. Have him feud with Ricochet. Because Ricochet is the one who he can come out and be like, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have eliminated Brock Lesnar. And then they can feud and he could just destroy Ricochet for a couple weeks or something and look amazing. Those two guys have had some great matches. I just see him come out in jeans and T-shirts and just be like, hey, high fives. And
the high fives.
The fans, the universe. And like, oh my God, this is not what I wanted.
Yeah, I don't know what they could do with him, but I don't think it's completely lost yet. I think that he might be able to pull it off a little bit better than Rollins did, but the 3-2-1 countdown, they got to drop that because it's going to get hokey and it's going to get silly, and I think kids will enjoy it. I think fans, when you're there, I mean, if I was there, I'd probably count down from 3 with them. You know what I mean? And probably cheer. But there is a big difference between how it comes off when you're there versus how it comes off when you're watching on TV. Like when we go and see Raw, we pop for pretty much every move they do in the ring. At home, I'm like, suplex, seen it.
Yeah,
crossbody from the top rope, seen it. But when you're there in real life and you see them do it, like there was a point where Viking Raiders in that main event, who were they tag team? Viking Raiders and Kevin Owens. Or actually Viking Raiders and Samoa Joe did a 3-man suicide dive. And I was literally thinking, if you're the fans in that front row, it's like 800 pounds of human coming at you. That's pretty impressive. It doesn't look great on TV. You're like, oh, a 3-way suicide dive. Seen this a million times. But being there would probably be pretty fucking awesome.
Wasn't it pretty crazy that also like Samoa Joe concussed himself doing a suicide dive?
He did?
And then he gets gets cleared this past week to come back, and he does a suicide dive again.
That was why he was hurt.
Yeah, man, he bonked his head like straight on the ground doing one a couple weeks ago.
That's good shit. Good shit, pal. Let's talk about Rhea Ripley. Let's talk about Charlotte. Rhea Ripley ate Sarah Logan for breakfast. Just completely destroyed her, which I'm okay with. I mean, Sarah Logan, that's where she's at. She's definitely the bottom of the totem pole from the old Riot Squad. Seems like
she's 2018, 2019 Dana Brooke right now.
Yeah.
She's being Dana Brooke.
Yeah, when she came backstage with her face painted and she's like, "Who are you to walk onto Raw?" And Rhea's like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like in general. Get the fuck out of my way. They should just put her with the Viking Warriors and call it a day. But
yeah,
I like the segment. I like Charlotte Flair coming out. I like how they're making Charlotte look like this huge entity compared to Rhea Ripley, and I think Rhea Ripley is going over at Mania. So I think we're going to get a really good payoff from this, and I think we're going to see Charlotte eat a lot of shit at Mania, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. But it also makes me think, man, like Ripley, if Ripley was able to defeat Charlotte at WrestleMania, why not Asuka?
Oh, stop bringing it back to Asuka. Dude,
Asuka would destroy Ripley.
Asuka
Come on.
Needs to be removed from the main event picture, and that's what's best for you, bro, because then you're not going to be upset about her losing all the time. If she goes back to being a tag team, she'll dominate. You'll get wet. You'll talk about her positively on the podcast. And, yeah, we'll just see green mist everywhere, dude.
I have to think, because someone was saying about Shayna Baszler, I think Triple H said, like, they're asking about her move to Raw. And they're like, well, it hasn't been finalized because we need an adequate kind of like roster exchange, a trade.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering, like maybe Asuka drops the tag team titles with Kyrie and then goes back to NXT.
Asuka and NXT is a horrible idea. Horrible idea.
Really? Here's the thing. Part of me is like, yes, it absolutely would be because we see a lot less of her. But if we could have like a match, Asuka versus X person at takeovers, like.
She would screw up.
Her takeover matches were so good.
They were good and they were great, and let's leave them alone, dude. Having Asuka go right now will screw up the chemistry that is the NXT Women's Division. Actually, Baszler being removed has elevated the Women's Division in NXT.
Yeah, no, you're right.
There's something really special going on down there.
Yeah.
And I can't get.
No, I agree with you. I think it's a wrong move to make.
Okay, let's move on. Matt Hardy apparently has said his goodbye to WWE. He took a concerto to the head from Randy Orton. I think if this is his actual goodbye, as much as I feel bad for Matt Hardy not having his long, drawn-out Edge, Daniel Bryan kind of see you later fans type thing, I think that him taking a headshot and then showing up in AEW is really fucking great. Because you know that he's going to retire in WWE. There's a good chance he'll come back at some point and retire. But if he is the exalted one from AEW, that's going to get me really excited for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'll be bored of it. But
that's more than most people.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think it'd be awesome. It looks like the stars are aligning for it to be him. I think it should be him. I think that'd be a perfect way to exit the WWE and go back into his delete or his broken character,
100%.
Not having to wrestle, but just being the exalted one. I think even Uno was like tweeting something like, "Oh, your goodbye is tomorrow's hello,"
exactly.
Or some kind of tweet or something where it tied to it. But here's the thing, guys. Do you think he would be able to go backstage and be like, "Look, Vince, I'm not happy. I want out of my contract. I want to go to AEW." And McMahon's like, "Okay. See you later." Like, there's no way McMahon's going to let him go to AEW.
If anybody, first of all, I think if he leaves, Jeff leaves. And I think Jeff is a problem for WWE.
Jeff won't leave.
You don't think? You don't think Jeff...
No, I don't know. I think Jeff looks at money, too. He's just like, I got a family to take care of. Like, I can go work a part-time
AEW
schedule.
will pay him up the ass.
Yeah, maybe. I imagine, I guess.
Money in AEW.
But I think Matt actually just re-signed the contract not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
don't quote me on that, but I don't think it's up his contract. So I think either he's just like taking hiatus or just going to run it out, or he did get a negotiation where he was able to break his contract. But I don't see the WWE letting him go, knowing he's going to go to AEW, because they know that character of Broken Matt Hardy was so successful in Impact or TNA. It can be very successful again in AEW. They just wanted to hold control over it and not let him have that, I guess, in WWE. They were very restrictive on the Matt Hardy character. They didn't want to pay for the rights of all the shit that came along with it either. So to me, it's like, yes, that would be an amazing thing. They should do it. I hope that's what happens. But for the life of me, I cannot see WWE letting that happen.
I don't think it hurts WWE to have Matt Hardy go over there, especially because if it's done in a clean way and the door is still open to come back, then whatever success he has in AEW, he'll bring that momentum back to WWE. And also, having WWE guys in AEW makes you think of WWE when you're watching AEW. Like Jericho Moxley is their main event picture.
It's funny, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah,
Moxley is probably going to be AEW's next champion. The first two champions in AEW are WWE guys that were there like a year ago. To throw Matt Hardy in there would be, well, if he's successful there, and if he's a draw, they're getting all their draws from WWE. It's in the long run.
And now they're advertising the big match finally, his big AEW debut of Jack Hager, right? Jack Swagger.
Yeah, this is happening.
So there's
right?
that guy. Yeah, it's happening. It's funny how his finishing move is a kick to the balls now. Like, that's what he does. It's because if you watch his MMA match, this last one, he literally kicked the guy in the balls and got disqualified or something, shit like that.
Jack Hager went from being this enforcer to this comedic relief. I really fucking love it. I really am so happy with the way that Jack Hager has progressed. I don't know if you're a fan because you think it's a little hokey, but I really like it.
I don't think he's trying to be comedic anymore. That's the thing. I think like at the beginning he was, but now he's getting more serious, but people are still finding him comedic. So it's kind of funny. And then look, then we have Omega, right? Everyone loves him. Not a top WWE guy, a self-made man, which is great. But who's his next feud coming up with? Pac. So it's like another WWE guy, right? So
yeah, he is a WWE guy, but I don't think he's as WWE as Jericho, Moxley, and Matt Hardy.
Of course, because Jericho spent like 20 years there, and Moxley obviously is the Shield, made so much money, world champion. But if anybody remembers Pac, right, primarily the bulk of the fan base, exactly, they know him as
I will
Neville.
keep. That was the worst ever, man. That guy had so much potential.
When he was the cruiserweight like bastard, like that, he was the best. 205 Live was amazing.
Or Pac, wherever the fuck you want to call him.
I don't know. JR never knows. He calls him Pac half the time.
We got a couple more things. I'm looking at your notes here. Heath Slater got on TV. He got his ass kicked by Daniel Bryan. Garza beat Cedric. What happens when Andrade returns? That's a good question. So is there going to be some sort of Zelina Vega fight going on here with these two dudes?
I hope so, and I imagine. Otherwise, they make my tag team or what? Like, there's like going to be that elephant in the room, right? So how are they going to address this? Because Andrade is actually coming back for the Saudi event. That's when his suspension is over. So he's already kind of penciled in. Or it's Elimination Chamber. I think it's the Elimination Chamber or Saudi. I don't know. So at the end of the month, he's back. Okay, and we're gonna have to wait and see because Selena right now is with Angel Garza, and they've had good chemistry. But at the same time, it's kind of like Andrade out. They'll put Garza in, and just watch Andrade come back. Garza gets like kind of put into
Just
something
gone.
else, and no one ever talks about it. And it's like, what are you talking about? Garza, they say Garza was Andrade for the past month. It's like, I was with him all month. What are you talking about?
Garza does have a star quality about him, though. He does.
He had a little mustache he has, too. Makes him look sinister.
Speaking of mustache. Yeah, okay, so we got Knock apparently not done with Strowman. Do you think we're going to get some sort of program with them at what, Elimination Chamber? Or you think it's going to carry on all the way to Mania?
It won't go to WrestleMania. I think it's just kind of like, the rematch that wrestlers aren't supposed to automatically get. It looks like Nakamura's getting it. He wants the title back. And I think the Revival actually helped Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Nakamura out this week. So we heard the reports of the Revival wanting out of their WWE contracts, being offered about $700K a year and still saying nope. They want creative freedom. It's not about money.
Give me a break, creative freedom. All right, bro.
Well, what do they want? Like, what is the creative? Like, I find them kind of entertaining when they go out and cut promos. Like, what do they want exactly? Like, to be champion? I mean, I
They
don't
don't
know.
need belts, bro. We just want creative control of what?
But I find half the stuff they do kind of. I guess I'd like to see what they could do. Maybe they're going to do something that's really, really entertaining because
Yeah, like go to
their stuff
AEW.
isn't terrible. I went from not liking them at all to being like good matches and kind of funny guys. So,
I prefer them in a comedic role than a serious role, that's for sure.
right. Same here. Yeah.
All right, one last point before we move on and start talking about AEW a little bit deeper. We got Otis preparing for his big date with Mandy Rose. What will happen? What will happen?
I don't know. This is a big one because we've been building this up, this romance, this budding romance, week after week now. He finally asked Mandy out. I cannot believe Mandy is doing nothing on St. Valentine's Day and has no plans. But albeit they are going on a date. And we saw Otis basically training and being prepared, putting on a nice tie and a blazer, trying to eat his steak with a fork and knife, prepared to go on a date with Mandy. I think this offers potential to be a lot of comedy here.
Yep.
They go out to a fancy restaurant and like he starts eating with his hands, or he puts the napkin into his shirt and then stands up and the whole table comes off or something. There'll be some funny elements. Either it's going to be a feel-good thing where he embarrasses himself and she's all like, "Oh, you," and he kisses him on the cheek and he gets like a heavy machinery boner, or she's going to break his heart, man. We know this is. I feel this is coming.
Of course it's
I feel
coming.
like
This is the ultimate heel
she's
turn.
going to draw ultimate heat. She's going to have used him all along or something like that, and he'll be brokenhearted. People will feel so much sympathy for him, and they're going to hate Mandy. We'll see, but it's been fun, man.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, this is a big date for Otis. He's been looking forward to this for a long time. It's going to be televised on TV. Do you think Otis will be too nervous to perform?
You think it's going to get to the hotel room?
I think it's going to get to the hotel room. And the thing is that Otis, your boys at Talkamania got you covered.
You know it, man. You know it, guys.
Guys, first of all, this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. We've been talking about this for a little while. Our sponsors are here. If you don't know about Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. Blue Chew is prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to the doctor's office or wait in line at the pharmacy, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package. Now, the thing about discreet packages is that the guys at the post office know what all these discrete packages are. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. Like, I go and I get stuff delivered, and they're like, they give me that look.
Same here, yeah. Because here now in our city, marijuana is legalized,
Yes.
right? So I even had some delivered to me this week, and they're like, "I hope you're old enough," kind of joking, So it's funny, but again, it's all about that discreetness, guys. Blue Chew, if you want to go that extra mile, even if you don't have a problem getting it up, man, maybe you want to give a little bit extra love
That's
to your
it.
wife,
It's
to
Valentine's
your
Day
lover.
tomorrow.
It's Valentine's Day, guys. So what better time to get some Blue Chew and go to bluechew.com and select any $20 plan and use our private code Talkamania. Pretty simple, guys. Talkamania.
You want me to spell that out for you? It's TALKAMANIA. Again, that's Blue Chew, BLUE Chew.com. Use promo code Talkamania. Try it for free. Blue Chew is better, cheaper, faster choice, and we thank them for sponsoring this episode of the podcast.
Let us help you make this Valentine's Day extra special.
Extra hard. Otis.
And extra long.
Otis, we got you, brother. We got you. All right, let's roll into AEW before we wrap things up with NXT and our predictions. I caught the end of AEW and it was decent. I really liked the Moxley-Santana match. I thought it was cool. Eye patch versus eye patch. Somehow they got it over without it being too hokey. And then we saw the debut of Jeff Cobbs. What was a little bit frustrating was that they had a vignette for Jeff earlier in the night, which I thought was weird. It would have been cooler if he just came out at the end. I've never seen a Jeff Cobb match. I've heard Justin Roberge talk about Jeff Cobb. I've heard the guys at Smart to Death talk about Jeff Cobb. I've seen Jeff Cobb written on a bunch of marquee matches in ROH and New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I've never watched it. And literally, it took me 5 seconds to be like, I want to see this fucker wrestle. He's got a cool look. He's like today's Rhino. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just had that Rhino build.
Yeah, and if he's an Inner Circle, this is
Yeah.
good. They needed that growth. There was something stale going on in Inner Circle. I thought Jericho looked really cool this week with his bandana, drinking the bubbly out of a small plastic glass. He had that weird jacket on, looked great. I honestly, there was things about AEW I really enjoyed.
The one thing that bothers me about, and this is getting, this is the French Canadian in me. Jericho's always calling himself le champion, right? Champion. Okay. But when he says that, that's basically saying he's the female champion because he's pronouncing it in the feminine way as opposed to le champion, le championne.
Sometimes he says, le champion.
Nerding it out, guys, there, learning some French. But Jericho is the women's champion, clearly. We're not discriminating these days. We saw Nyla Rose win the championship. Men and both women, all sorts of sizes and sexes and genders can win. It's 2020, guys. J-Bomb's cringing over there.
A little bit, yeah.
But yes, Jeff Cobb, I've seen him wrestle in New Japan. Guy's a beast. People were saying this is an amazing signing, amazing surprise. A lot of people are saying, who is Jeff Cobb? Well, now you're going to learn who Jeff Cobb is. And I think he's taking on Moxley next week. So the question is, who picks up the win here? I have to imagine Jericho's going to pull some funny business.
Finish.
No finish, or Jericho will pull some funny business so Cobb gets a win. And then Moxley looks like, defeated going into the match. And then he beats Jericho, kind of WWE style booking. But to your point about them playing the video package ahead of time, I heard this is because the Butcher, when he made his debut, people were like, who the fuck is this guy? And they wanted to avoid the same scenario when Cobb comes down and they're like, who is Jeff Cobb?
Okay. That's a fair point. But don't do it the same episode. It was a little silly.
I guess. Yeah. They're like, yeah, Jeff Cobb's coming tonight.
Like, they did it with Wardlow or Meatloaf, whatever you want to call him. They had packages before that, before he, debuted, and it worked. It's just odd seeing a guy, do a vignette and then come out later as a secret. It's like, well, it was a little obvious. But it still went over well. Jeff Cobb's still somebody that I'm excited to see. But yes, speaking of Riho, speaking of Nyla Rose, I am happy as shit. I'm a little disappointed this wasn't for the pay-per-view. Not because I think that women deserve to be... I don't care about any of that shit. I just wish that I had watched it because I missed it and I really wanted to see... And I would have watched the pay-per-view. So Nyla Rose is your new women's world champion in AEW. I think it's fitting. She's a monster. I think Riho...
The belt's so tiny.
I think... Right. Yeah. Maybe they'll have to change it. But I think Riho lived out her welcome. I think a little bit. So I'm cool with that going on. And then Nyla Rose had some choice words for Kenny Omega after the match.
Yeah, that we didn't really hear because they're doing a commercial break. So there's a segment where she basically walked backstage telling Omega this stuff, and we couldn't hear it because they're on commercial break. So I'm going to go back and try to watch that this week. Yeah, but I have to say...
I just want to make one point. I've noticed that because I watched the pirated version of AEW. Now, I think if you subscribe to them on whatever network it is, the online feed one.
Fight Network or Bleacher Report or some shit like that.
There are no commercials. So
yeah, I was hearing that.
Yeah, you actually get to hear it all and see it all. Even if there's nothing going on, you hear JR talking. You hear JR talking with Excalibur. You hear them talking kind of behind the scenes a little bit, and there's just like an aerial view. So maybe...
Yeah, JR asking when his bedtime is and when he needs to take his pills.
When he could get his Blue Chew.
Where he gets his Blue Chew, guys.
Promo code
Talkmania. Go to BlueChew.com, guys. Get your pills.
Get your Bona pills.
Let's
go. Let's get rock hard.
Your chewables. But so I watched the match between Nyla Rose and Riho. I thought this was a lot better than their previous match. It wasn't the cleanest, but at the same time, I thought it was one of the better matches I've seen between two women in NAWs thus far. Nyla looked good. It was more believable. The strikes that Riho was hitting on Nyla. And Nyla fucking took it to Riho. Riho was very, very, I guess, man, she took a beating and kept going, right? So you have to give her credit where credit's due. Nyla Rose is your champion. I think it's good to have somebody dominant on top, see where they go from here, kind of have a full-time champion because Riho kind of wasn't there every week. And I understand how important she is to Kenny Omega and, his idea of what the women's division was going to look like. And, Riho might have her time again in the sun, but interested to see where they go from here. I'm down with Nyla being the champion. I think she'll represent as a good champion, a strong, convincible champion. And now I'm just interested to see who she takes on next, and who's going to be the one to eventually dethrone
I
her.
think it's going to be Chris Statlander, whatever her name is going to, match up with her next. It seems like there's not really much going on with the Nightmare Collective or the Nightmare Club. I don't know.
It ended. It's done, apparently.
Okay, so like it's like official. I'm
I
looking at
mean,
your notes.
I think last week she like burned her outfit or something and
Who's
said
this,
like,
Brandy?
this isn't me, and then when she came out to see Cody Rhodes at the end of the whipping last week, like, I don't know, there's some kind of conversation in an interview where she talked and said like it wasn't working.
It wasn't
So
working.
they kind of just gave up on the gimmick halfway through. I think Awesome Kong wanted to do something completely different with her character, and they weren't kind of meeting eye to eye. And in the whole scheme of things, I get
It's
it.
a good call.
Things don't work. You pull the plug on it. I think it could have worked, to be honest with you. I think it could have worked if they would have maybe tinkered a little bit with it. I didn't hate Brandy Rhodes in that role.
Yeah.
I was getting to know her a little bit. Now they kind of were like, it's AW's first almost gimmick that they were like, we failed. We're pulling the plug and we're sweeping under the rug.
I think it was a good
But my biggest thing here is I feel really bad for that girl who shaved her head.
I don't. She got on TV. She got signed by AEW. I'd shave a lot of stuff to get on TV. That's twice I've used that line.
Right.
No, I think it makes sense because if they're gonna push, okay, if the Exalted One is coming for Dark Order, you can't have two people with this dark gimmick. It's a little silly. Recruiting people left, right, and center. I'm giving you a mask, I'm taking your hair. I'm giving you a mask, I'm taking your hair. Join the inner circle, I'll give you a car. I'll give you a mask, I'm taking your hair. It's
like Oprah or her Price is Right or some shit.
It's too much. It's like, I get it. Wrestling fans, me included, this is one of my favorite things in wrestling. Will he put on the stripes? Will he put on the t-shirt? Will he join Undisputed Era? Oh my God, he took his shirt off. He's part of NW. I loved all that shit. I don't want 3 storylines going on at the same time of that shit. So let it be the Dark Order. I'm happy that they chose the Dark Order over the Nightmare Collective because I do think that the Dark Order has a way to get over. I think it's headed in the right direction. If Matt Hardy joins, oh, fucking right.
And we don't know what's up with Christopher Daniels. He kind of was like, there was that promo on stage where Uno's like, the Exalted One, blah, blah, blah. And Chris Daniels like, I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to go backstage and all by myself and take on these 5 guys and see what's going on. And then he didn't come out at the end of the match where the whole skirmish broke out. So, like, where was Christopher Daniels? Is he going to join in the end? And one thing I have to say about this match, so SCU challenging again for the tag team titles. For some reason, points don't matter anymore because
it was a stupid idea.
Shots. I know. I mean, it's not a terrible idea, ambitious. But I just feel like they pick and choose when they want to use it. Because it's like, oh, next week they're taking on Paige and Omega are taking on Lucha Brothers, and I think they do have some points stacked and stuff. But like, you'll see like certain titles on the line where people are like, you look at their record and it's like 1-1. They have a title shot, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What? I don't get it. But SCU ended up coming up short against Hangman Page and Omega. They are obviously still butting heads to some degree, but we're on the same page when it came to the match. And it looks like they're going to go on to face, like I said, Lucha Brothers. But in this match, watch the ending if you want to go back and check it out. They actually did their double finisher, the clothesline / knee or whatever it is, to Frankie Kazarian. Man, it sounded and looked brutal. The guy crumbled. But when they pinned him, the guy's shoulder, Frankie's shoulder, was up the whole 3 count, not down, and he had his arm on the rope, and they counted to 3. So I don't know what it is with these referees in AEW, but every week there's not 1, not 2, but at least 3 like referee out of position, not reading shit. They have to have a referee workshop in AEW where they're like, guys, we need to tighten up in this area or that or this, because I find like, man, like, I'm not even like, it's not even minimal. Look this week, unless it's a gimmick, unless it's a storyline where SAU is going to come back and be like, well, look, my arm was up. I grabbed the rope. It wasn't even like, I think his shoulder was up, like Ronda Rousey style, or I think he grabbed the rope. He clearly had his shoulder up. He clearly had the rope. Unfortunate. And anyways, this coming week or something like that, we have a battle royale coming up with all the tag teams in AEW, and whoever wins gets a tag team title shot. Again, throwing the whole point system out the window.
I think it was a bad move. I think they're trying to get away from it. I don't know if you noticed, but when Hangman and Omega came out, they had days sober.
Yeah,
and Omega was at like, I don't know, 3,000.
He's never drank, I guess.
Something. Yeah, he's
13,000 or something. Yeah.
cowboy shit was at 0, which I liked. I like this program because I feel like we're getting to see this storied character of Hangman Page, and I think it's a better sell than him being kind of like the chosen one heading into when AEW came out. So I'm all about this. But
yeah, and they're not rushing it either. Like I was worried they're going to be like, oh, this week SUE will win it back, Page will, and Omega will start going at it. But here's the thing: now I'm kind of calculating based on how I usually see wrestling and booking coming. So we have Omega and Page taking on the Lucha Brothers next week. I think that match, maybe they'll retain, maybe they'll lose. I don't know. But here's the thing: I think the Omega Pac match is going to be the match where Hangman Page and Omega split. Page will come out or something, or he'll cost Omega that match. And it's an Iron Man match, a 30-minute Iron Man match.
That's cool. That's dope.
Yeah. So I think like the deciding pin or factor, they'll tie into Page somehow, because it's weird that Omega has this side thing going on with Pac, and it's like it's got to tie in some way.
It probably will. Can you hear the word Iron Man match and not think Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels?
I can't, and I also can't think anything less than 60 minutes.
I know,
because like a lot of matches go 20 something minutes. And it's like, well,
there's like a 30-minute time limit on most matches anyway. So it's like,
yeah.
Who cares?
Remember the time limits when they would run out in AW? It stopped happening.
Yeah, well, people were complaining about it. Oh, it's such a shtick. It's such a this. It's such a that. I liked it.
I like it once in a while, like once a month or something. Do it on AW or something like that. And maybe they're just taking a little bit of a break, but hope they don't remove it completely.
They'll use it again. Maybe it'll happen with Jeff Cobb and Diener.
Yeah, that could be the case. We also saw MJF taking on Jungle Boy. I just want to mention this because MJF did a very good job at playing a heel this past week. He didn't use Meatloaf, Wardlow, whatever his name was. And Jungle Boy looked really good, man. That kid's got a good future ahead of him. He looked fantastic. And he got a beat down from Wardlow after. He kind of picked him up and did some kind of like ultimate F5 where he just spun him around 3 times to drop him on his stomach. I have to think he's going to kill somebody one day with that. But the match itself was pretty good. And then Britt Baker, another promo to draw heat. She's getting better. I'm still kind of not, but I think she's getting better week after week. She's playing with the crowd, playing with Tony Schiavone. So, some good stuff happening, to be honest with you. I actually watched AW today, topped it from start to finish, and enjoyed the program. And then I watched NXT as well, too, which was very match-based. My notes, if you look at my notes for AW, it's like more in detail, like this happened, what's going to happen next? Yeah. And then my notes for next year is like Bianca versus Garrett, Gargano versus Grimes. It's like they were just matches, and I guess the story was told in the matches themselves.
Yeah. And it was a go-home show for TakeOver as well. So, and I like how NXT does it. They don't focus so heavily on storylines right before a pay-per-view because you know that you're going to get a huge story told in the ring, and that's the fucking beauty of NXT. Like, even at the end, Cole versus Kushida, we had Ciampa come out, very simple, looked at Goldie until Adam Cole brought it to his eyes, looked him in there, told him, I'm going to take it. Adam Cole took him over my dead body, fade to black, and now we got NXT Portland.
Nobody stabbed anybody in the eye. No eye patches.
No run-ins. No debuts.
No cutting off any hair. No, none of that.
Not to shit on AEW. I mean, I like AEW as well. Wednesday is definitely the
I
best
liked it
day.
this week, man. I actually really genuinely enjoyed AEW this week. And usually I'll find ways to shit on it. I don't find ways to shit on it, but like I'm always like, this and that. And I can be critical of every product. I'm critical of the WWE, but I don't know. Like, look, Bronson Reed versus Roderick Strong. It was an okay match. Dream played some mind games. We also had the adventures of Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle. A little bit cheesy, but fun. They stole it away on Triple H's private jet.
Riddle's pulling this off, so it works.
It is. And Bianca versus Garrett. I know a lot of people are upset, especially our friends at Boot to the Face. Santana Garrett basically coming out.
He's going to kill you.
I said Santana.
I said Santina.
No.
We'll have to check the audio.
It doesn't matter. Either way, I meant Santana. And very, very short work. Bianca finished that off really quickly. But, man, Bianca's looking great heading into TakeOver. And who knows, man, maybe she's raising her stock so much that the WWE is going to reconsider the main event at WrestleMania. Throw her in, make it a 3-way. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm excited for their match at TakeOver Portland between Ripley and Bianca. And then we got Candice LeRae taking on Dakota Kai. You saw Candice LeRae getting busted open the hard way from Dakota Kai. And you know what? I'm not going to complain that much because I'm always bitching about how soft her soft style weak kicks are. She nailed some dingers this past week.
Some dingers.
Obviously, it busted open Candice LeRae. And then we saw a nice brawl between Knox coming out at the end, and those women were going at it. So these two women are supposed to have, I think, a street fight or no DQ or whatever it is at Portland. So Knox and Kai
it's a
actually
street fight.
might
I didn't
be,
know it was a street fight.
yeah,
Oh.
it's actually one of the matches on the card that I'm most interested in seeing.
It's funny because you say street fight, and we've talked about it a few episodes back. Street fights in WWE suck, but street fights in NXT, I like it.
Especially between two women.
That's
We
it.
might see a kiss or a tickle.
Oh, all right, guys. Quick break. We're gonna get a quick mention from quick plug for our buddies over at Boot to the Face. And when we return, predictions NXT Takeover Portland.
The following announcement has been paid for by Boot to the Face. What's up, Talkamaniacs? Do you enjoy quality wrestling talk? Raw, AEW, NXT, SmackDown, and pay-per-view prediction and review shows mixed with a lot of whiskey and a whole lot of profanity? Are you tired of the Smarky podcast and you just want to hear fans talk about wrestling that don't want to take it too seriously? Then come find us at Boot to the Face on Spreaker, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We're Santana Garrett's favorite podcast. That's Boot to the Face with the number 2 as in sweet.
If she can't be on NXT Takeover, she's gonna be on Talkamania. Io
Dude, how
Shirai-
fucking awesome is that theme? I never really listened to it, so like without her coming out and announcing talking, man.
Yeah, it's a banger, man. I really like that.
Oh, I
thing.
hope she's back in time for WrestleMania.
I hope that
I
she
don't know
makes
where
an
you're gonna
appearance
throw her
at
into.
Takeover. Is there any chance?
I feel like they're gonna throw her in the Battle Royale WrestleMania. They're gonna be like, "Are you good to go? Okay, we'll throw you in the Battle
I
Royale
don't think that they're
WrestleMania."
going to do that. I don't think a lot of NXT is
She
going to
might
be
win
in
it
there.
too, though.
Ah,
She might win it. If you're gonna throw somebody in the Battle Royale WrestleMania and have it be her, you got to make her the winner. I think fans love her so much.
she's going to have a big takeover. If she's back for Mania, she's going to have a big takeover. I think she's next in.
I think she'll come up to the. She might also come up to the main roster too. Like that, she might not win the NXT Championship and just come up to the main roster. Because like, look, Ripley ends up keeping the title. Then what does she go from here? She fights Io, and then Io wins, and she drops the title right after beating Becky. Like,
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's a tough one. This Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte thing could really fuck up some shit for NXT. But whatever, it puts them over. It's huge. There's no better way than having the NXT Women's Champion fight Charlotte at WrestleMania. I will argue it to the death. I don't care if NXT is your little secret that you like to keep at home and jerk off in your mom's basement because you're a crazy Mark, dude.
and if you do, use Blue Chew.
Imagine jerking off.
Promo code Talkamania, guys.
Imagine popping Blue Chew to jerk off.
Go for it, man. Try it. Experiment. Why not, guys? Go for it. Blue Chew. You Talkamania. It's a discount code, man. Why not?
Think of us while you're doing it.
Not me. This guy.
No,
maybe,
Des,
but-
he'll send you nudes if you do it.
Oh.
He'll get you nice and hard. All right.
All
let's-
right, guys. We're gonna
let's
get
do-
into our NXT Takeover predictions. Before we do, we want to give a little shout out to Jordan Graves, who won the Knockouts title finally in Impact.
She
I
knows
know
the
she's
shit out of me lately, though.
why.
Just her social media's shit. I don't know. Anyways, whole other thing. Maybe I'm the only
Is
one.
because you send sexy photos of herself and then says don't
Yes.
don't
She's full of
don't
shit.
objectify me, but look at my butt and look at my
Dude,
boobs,
she's-
because that's all of the internet. That's all of social
Yeah,
media.
but she literally has an Instagram post today for Valentine's Day tomorrow for the Adam and Eve store. Like, it's a sex toy thing, right? And I get it. And I'm not saying that, wow, because you got, sexy pictures, I'm going to come and rape you. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, dude, like, you're putting yourself out there. I'm going to look at you that way. Don't come at me because I look at you that way.
I don't want to go there. I share some of the similar thoughts, but I don't want to lose viewership.
Like, I'm pretty sure her Patreon page, if you pay for it, you just get like pretty much semi nudes, right? And then if somebody like inboxes her, like, oh man, yeah, like sends her a dick. Yeah, I get it. Sending a girl a dick pic, no matter what she puts on the internet, is fucking weird. It's fucking weird. But like, if you're like, hey baby, and she's like all offended and puts you in her book, it's like, well, like, I bet you if I paid you, you would say, "Hey, baby, back." So, like, come on, Tessa Blanchard's taking shits for $5.
And as men too, like I mean, like
No,
we're
that's no
genetically.
excuse, Des. That's no excuse. Watch your mouth. Don't say as men. Don't give that as an excuse.
I waited. I was like, should I jump in on
No.
this? I'm gonna be nice tonight. I'm gonna be good. Yeah, okay. I guess I
Let's
should.
walk that fine line because I'm pretty sure I crossed it. I used the R word.
Yes, you did. You did. I was about to go in there right after you. But Jordan Grace is awesome.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
she seems like a really
I
cool
love her in
girl.
ring.
Yeah, her in ring work is fantastic. You know, and I love her finisher too. That little like kind of like almost one winged angel she kind of does. Kind of a variation of it. Dumps them on their head. She picked up the Knockouts title on Impact. So we have both your champions are women. So it's an
Ooh.
awesome time to be
And they're
alive
like
for
BFFs.
Impact.
So.
Well, that's it. And so what better match to have? Tessa Blanchard versus Jordan Grace. Championship versus championship for all the marbles.
Tessa
I have to say one thing, though. Tessa Blanchard had an amazing 2019, maybe one of the best, men or women. It was fantastic. Great matches. Solidified herself to be a competitor within the men. But since she won that championship, crickets.
Well, I think they're taking a little step back on that whole Tessa Blanchard thing.
But there's so many videos of her cutting promos and like the fans aren't invested and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to be huge. And it was a huge moment. But
you're probably a little bit nervous to cheer her, I think. At least for the time being. I mean,
I think Impact fans are like, they don't give a shit, you know, and like people support her. And like, I don't give a shit.
Are you talking shit about Impact
sure
fans?
she's made
Are you saying
mistakes and
Impact
stuff
fans
and, like-
are like somewhat racist and they won't care?
I mean, like, look, people are saying she said racist things. She's saying she didn't. There's no hard evidence. She says she's learned from her mistakes. Like, I mean, I don't know. Who am I to say? I'm not a judge or a jury.
Oh, I agree.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
Moving on. Okay.
Wow, we just
the
like
Rock's
walked
daughter,
the line.
Simone, I think her name is Johnson, has signed
Samoan
with
the
NXT.
Samoan, really?
I hope that's
I
right.
think that
now
is
I'm
right. I
thinking
remember reading that.
yeah. So she has signed with NXT. So that's a huge signing to NXT. That means she'll be main eventing WrestleMania next year. So guys,
Versus
buy
Nia
your
Jax.
tickets now. She will be fighting Becky
Nia
Lynch,
Jax.
Sasha, Bailey, and Charlotte in a gauntlet match, and she will win that match. And after, she will fight The Rock and beat The Rock.
Yeah, and
so
Roman will
next year's
still be
WrestleMania,
booed.
guys.
Roman will still be booed.
Roman will still be booed. But in all honesty, cool signing. I'm very interested to see what she's going to do and bring to the WWE. It also might mean The Rock will be more involved in the WWE in the future, coming out, helping his daughter.
Putting her over.
So that's always a plus. But that's some big news. NXT's bringing in some hot talent.
Well,
we'll see how she does.
I don't know if you. I don't know if you want to use the word hot talent on that one. I mean, let's be honest. NXT TakeOver Portland. Let's go. Let's start it off with the UE versus the Broserweights. This is for the NXT Tag Team Championship. I gotta go with my bros in the Broserweights because I really do think UE is on its way to main roster post WrestleMania, and they can't leave with the gold.
I agree with you here. I think I still feel like they're lining up things to have the Monday Night Messiah or the Disciples, that group, taking on the Undisputed Era. I think that's kind of what they're kind of already preparing the pieces in place for.
You think UE's gonna come in and be a face?
Yes, 100%. Because people are not. I think even back they're like, they're a heel faction, but then somebody's like, Heyman's like, are you fucking crazy? They come to the main roster, people are automatically going to cheer them. Let's take advantage of that. Yeah. So I think they're going to go up against the Monday Night Messiah group, core, whatever it is. They're going to put on some fucking excellent matches, guys. So you're in store for some amazing, amazing post-WrestleMania stuff coming forward if that's the route they decide to go. And the Broserweights, they've been investing a lot of time in these guys. They've been putting on amazing tag team matches themselves. And these little segments that they had this week, I thought were kind of cheesy, but it looks like they're putting that production value into segments with these guys. They see something in them outside of their in-ring work. So I fully expect the Broserweights to pick up the win here, especially heading in to WrestleMania weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to have, well, look, I think it's going to play one of two ways here, and I guess I'm being safe, but I think the Broserweights are going to win. That's my call. But I think they also could play the role where like they're going to have a rematch at the WrestleMania TakeOver.
Yeah, they'll lose again. I think, though.
So they'll either lose again, or the Broserweights will get a rematch and they'll win then. But either way, I'm gonna pick the Broserweights for Portland this Sunday.
Yeah, okay, we're on the same page for that. Let's move on to Dakota Kai versus what's her first name?
Captain Coda.
What's Nox's first name?
Tegan.
God damn it. Dakota Kai, Tegan Nox.
That caustic Nox gas.
Yeah.
Pew pew.
Street fight, as I learned tonight, so that's a lot more exciting. Do you think we're gonna get the payoff where Tegan Nox comes out the victor?
Well, neither of them, like, what? You think about their friends and enemies. Like, okay, Nox helped Candice LeRae this week. Was Candice going to come out next week and during the match and help her? Will Dakota Kai just, be relentless and find a way to beat Tegan? Will Tegan finally get her retribution here, or are they going to bring it to Portland? I have to think they're going to have this feud is going to be drawn out long. I have to think that Dakota Kai, because that big heel turn she had, they're going to want to make her elevated a little bit. I think they're going to draw up this feud into WrestleMania. So I think Kai's going to find a way to pick up the win here. She'll do some dirty tactics. I think Dakota Kai's going to pick it up. And, I think we'll all be – I think this is going to be a good match. I think this is going to be one of the better ones on the card.
I think that this is going to be Johnny Gargano versus Ciampa 2.0 or whatever, 7.0 really. I think it's the women's version of that match. I don't know if it's the knee brace that, ties my mind together with Ciampa, but I think it's going to be something similar where you're going to see Dakota Kai put Tegan Nox down. Like,
I think
it's going to be a dirty ending.
This is a put up or shut up kind of match for Kai. Mm-hmm. I've been liking this heel turn that Kai's had. I think it's been excellent. It's definitely helped her character. I want her to be stiffer in the ring with her kicks. I find them a little weak.
Maybe she needs a blue chew.
Maybe she needs a blue chew, guys. You can get blue chew, bluechew.com, Talkamania, your promo code, get hard and enjoy, take over, and you take over the bedroom with your spouse, lover, or significant other. But I do have to think that we're going to see some good things out of Kai this Sunday. She's going to surprise us all, have that aggressive edge, and take it to Nox and pick up the win one way or the other.
Righto. Let's move on to Gargano versus Finn Balor. This is somewhat of a grudge match. Excited ever since the Pele kick. This has been building. I think Gargano was injured at some point, so Gargano was injured at some point, so we didn't get it when we were supposed to. This is when we're getting it. I feel like it has less hype than it would have if we had gotten it earlier. Dez is shaking his head no. He says there's hype. Ultimately, I mean, this is a tough one to call because Balor going back to NXT and losing a big match and losing his first big program is kind of shitty. But not putting Gargano over is also shitty. So,
you know what? If you watch Gargano matches, though, now, like I watched the match with him and Cameron Grimes this week, and Cameron Grimes is like mid-carder. Cameron Grimes is like kind of like, he looks like a jobber,
they're giving him a push,
but he puts on good matches.
Yeah.
He actually puts on good matches. He's actually entertaining. But the fans were cheering half for Gargano, half for Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, people like Grimes.
I think but I also think people are kind of like, they feel Roman reigned with Gargano, and they're just kind of sick of it. And they're like, okay, we've had him for the past 3-4 years. Like, we want to cheer for other people, and we understand he's the hero, but like,
I never did. I never understood it.
They're fickle. I like Gargano. I think he puts on good matches. He's got good stamina. I think like the matches he could. Well, no, the matches he put on are long and drawn. If you watch him versus Adam Cole, him versus Ciampa, these are long matches, right? And I think he's able to put these on. But Balor coming to NXT, he's been picking up wins as well, too. Is this really the time to just have Balor lose and make the payoff immediate? Do you extend this feud a little bit further to WrestleMania? I would think maybe you have that happen and then have Gargano versus Balor 2 at WrestleMania, and then Gargano pick up the win there. And then who knows, maybe after Balor can head back up to the main roster or whatever. But I don't know, man. Like, it's not going to go in all the heroes and heels favors. I'm actually going to feel like somehow Balor's going to pick up the win here. So I'm going to go with Balor. I know it's likely, kind of edged towards Gargano. And if you're going to look at the betting odds, it'd probably be Gargano. But I'm going to go with Balor on this one.
I think I'm with you, man. I just don't see why Balor would go to NXT to not kind of dominate a little bit. And I think Gargano is a good guy to kind of get, your first step back in the direction of where he needs to go. I got to think Cole, being part of UE is headed, main roster bound. So I'm not going to give away my prediction for that right now, but I do think that ultimately Balor will be next in line or, close back into that title picture after the program with Gargano is over. So I'll agree with you. I'm going to go with Finn Balor as well.
Cool. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Gargano come up to the main roster after WrestleMania. There's certain people that you kind of want to leave down there. Like I think Ciampa doesn't want to go up.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And they'll misuse him if they go to the main roster. I think he belongs to NXT. I kind of feel like Gargano might, I guess, suffer the same fate. He kind of seems like a very Daniel Bryan-esque character to me, Gargano, and I feel like maybe the timing is when Daniel Bryan takes a step backwards or something. But I feel like he might make a debut after WrestleMania. It's going to be so exciting to see who kind of moves up.
Yeah,
but
I don't think Gargano's going to work on the main roster, man. I'm not kidding. I think he's going to be like Shorty G.
He'll be Shorty G.
Yeah.
I think he's even smaller.
His last name's Gargano. Starts with a G. Okay, let's move on to the title picture. We got Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic. I had to close my eyes to say that name. We know what we're getting here. I think it's very easy. Keith Lee's retaining on this. They're gonna have all their high spots. It's gonna be a bit of a repeat of what we've seen, but I don't mind because it's that good. So I'm looking forward to this match as well. But it is a match that's kind of like, it's probably the easiest one to call on the card.
It's funny because for those of you that tuned into NXT, you saw the promo between the two, and Mark Henry was the one basically, I guess speaking for the promo of the match. And, he was talking about Keith Lee. He was showing all the stuff he did at Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble, which is awesome. But then he started talking about Dijakovic, and I think a lot of us sell him short. Not that he's going to win this match. I still think Keith Lee will retain. But you guys, those of you who have been sleeping on Dijakovic, you're going to see a guy who can actually do some pretty crazy shit.
Yeah. He's underrated.
Mark Henry was talking about how he can step over the ring like The Undertaker, but he can do flips and stuff like, Rey Mysterio. He can do Spanish flies off the top rope. These are things this guy can do, and he is awesome. And I think it's so awesome to see Keith Lee and Dijakovic, who had so many matches before coming to a solid NXT run, then in NXT. And then now when he wants a title, they're like, let's put him in a great match with Dijakovic again. These guys are going to tear the house down. The only thing I want to, I guess, ask of these guys is not to do the same thing over and over and over, like the same spots.
They're going to.
Because I've seen the Spanish Fly 100 times from these guys. I want to see something different. The last time they did match up, they did do new things and innovative things. So I know we'll get that. But I'm just hoping that it's not going to be kind of like them trying to recreate something else as opposed to making something new. But this is another match on the card, guys. Don't sleep on it. Don't go to the bathroom. Keith Lee is so over. And for those of you who think Dijakovic is just a jobber, he's gonna tear through. Although he won't win the championship, this is gonna be a pretty solid match and one to keep your eyes on.
All right, so we're both pretty set on Keith Lee, though, right? Okay.
Yes.
Let's move on to the women's, the NXT championship, if you want to be, PC here. We got Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. There's tie-ins to Charlotte Flair. Will she be there? Will she not be there? Will this end in somewhat of a no contest and drag Bianca Belair into the WrestleMania picture with a triple threat? There's a lot of outputs that can come from this match, and it's interesting. And if nothing comes from it, we're still going to have Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. This is a standalone pay-per-view for NXT, which is very cool. I don't know if we've had one of these before. There's nothing tied into them on the weekend. They got the Sunday night slot. This is huge. We're going to see Bianca Belair double smack her ass without a WWE pay-per-view following it. And I'm excited for that. Bianca versus Ripley, hard one to call. Is it? Is it just going to be Ripley and we're going to move forward? Is that what's going to happen here?
You're asking me like you want the answers here.
Well, I hope you have them.
Well, I'm curious what you think. Who do you think is going to win this match? What direction do you think they're going to go in towards WrestleMania?
I think it's going to be a little bit more straightforward. I think you're going to get a really good match, a lot of false finishes. Bianca Belair is going to come very, very close to it. She's going to walk out looking like $1 million. Rhea Ripley is ultimately going to, go over, win it, maybe show some respect, and then we're going to see Charlotte Flair walk out.
You 100% called what's going to happen. That's exactly what I believe will happen as well, too. It would be cool for them to swerve us and Bianca wins.
No, I don't want Bianca to win. Not because I don't like Bianca.
And then Ripley's like, what the hell? And then they kind of make it a triple threat. I know. They could choose these little swervy directions. I think, man, Belair's stock has been rising consistently since Survivor Series. And that's quite some time. And, week after week, she's going out there and proving why she is the EST.
I realized what EST meant. I thought she was existence.
The bestest.
Yes.
The prettiest.
Greatest.
The greatest.
Yeah, I like it now.
Yeah,
First I was annoyed by it, but now I like it.
The gassiest.
That's
the
me.
sexiest. the angriest, the bitchiest. She is just the
Did you call her
EST
the
of everything.
gassiest? Like
Yeah.
farts?
That's you. You said that's you,
Yeah, I'm
right?
gassy. I've had to mute like
You're
5
the EST
times.
of gas.
I've had to
I'm
mute.
telling you guys, you don't know. Now that you have video on, you might catch it from time to time. But this guy hits the mute button, lifts up his cheek, and lets them rip like at least 3 or 4 times an episode.
Bro, don't give away my fucking secrets.
But again, like there's not much more for me to add than that. I have to say you painted a pretty good picture. I think it's going to be an awesome match between the two of them. I think Belair is going to come very, very close, ultimately losing via hopefully not a pump handle slam because she's got to find a better finisher than that.
I don't hate it. It works for her.
I don't know, man. When the Road Dogg used to do that, I'm like, really, man?
Well, the Road
like,
Dogg
it's a pump
sucked
handle
dick.
slam. It's a pump handle slam.
Yeah, it works for Ripley. It's the Riptide.
Riptide, yeah. Okay, sure. I like to see when Blair whips people to shit with that hair, and then they zoom in on their skin, and the skin's like ripped or bleeding, and I'm like, oh damn! And they still let her use it. It's like, sweet.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the well, I'm not gonna call it the main event, but the men's heavyweight championship for NXT. We got Adam Cole versus Tommaso Ciampa. Yeah, it's hard not to think that. Will Ciampa get Goldie back? Is this the end of the Cole reign? Or does this carry on to TakeOver before Mania? Or does this end up on the Mania card? There's a lot of things that could happen here. They could
I know.
They could bring, and I wouldn't hate this, if they brought the NXT titles, at least the two main ones, to the main roster for WrestleMania. Let Keith Lee or whoever is a North American Championship, headline that show, maybe the tag team champions as well, and let some of the smaller card get that huge spotlight of, TakeOver before Mania.
So just today, I was reading all these teases how like Adam Cole wants AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
Oh my God.
And I think that
that'd
could
be
be an amazing match.
So
Imagine that the
good.
NXT Championship, AJ Styles versus Adam Cole.
So good.
Man, that would be a hell of a match. I also hear that they're maybe planning for AJ Styles versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania, right? So,
Bro, if it's anybody other than Sting and Mania, I'm going to be really disappointed.
you think Sting Undertaker WrestleMania?
Yeah, I think if Sting
yeah.
Undertaker's happening, it's not happening in Saudi. Saudi money's good money, but the draw to put asses in seats and
I agree. I think
Sting
it should be
versus
WrestleMania.
Taker, like I don't like either of them at their age, but I will definitely be hyped for that kind of match.
Work an old slow match. If you go back and watch like Hogan versus Macho Man, they were like very slow, kind of transition headlocks.
The big boot
like,
should be the biggest move in the whole thing. A Stinger
Yeah,
splash
that's it, man.
should be like, whoa, suplex
if you have
kick.
AJ Styles versus The Undertaker, it's gonna be like Undertaker's gonna be gassed within like 30 seconds.
Yeah, no good. That's a horrible matchup.
You can't do the Styles clash. They'll drop Undertaker on his head, and then people will be angry at AJ Styles.
SummerSlam. They keep that shit for SummerSlam. It would be cool for AJ because he gets to fight The Undertaker.
Yeah, right. It's a dream match.
For him, not for me.
Yeah, it's a nightmare for some people.
Nightmare for me. But yes, Cole, Ciampa, let's go.
So Cole and Ciampa. Look, this is one of these kind of matches where it's like I'm trying to look at the WrestleMania direction program because I think the Undisputed Era is going to come up. I see the tag team titles being dropped potentially at TakeOver Portland.
Lose all the gold.
Yeah, they are going to lose all the gold, obviously, if they're going up to the main roster. But is this like maybe Cole retains and then goes to WrestleMania and then finally loses it against Ciampa and then comes up to the main roster the night after? Or does Cole lose at Portland, try to regain it, but then is unsuccessful at WrestleMania weekend and then comes up to the main roster? So it could be one of two. Ciampa's so dead set on winning that and bringing back Goldie. Is now the time. This is probably the hardest one for me to kind of side with and call for this match, but I'm going to go out there and say Cole's going to find a way to retain this.
Okay, so if you have Yui losing against Broserweights, and we have Roderick Strong's not even on the card, but he's not a champion anymore, and you just have Cole as the champion, everybody else has lost their gold. I don't think Cole bringing the championship title to the main roster is like decent. I don't think that's great.
But I think Ciampa winning at WrestleMania weekend is going to be bigger than him winning this Sunday. I think Ciampa, like people love Ciampa. He's coming back for Goldie. He is honestly one of the best NXT champions they've had. Albeit he was a heel, but at the same time, he was really, really good in NXT. He is an NXT guy. I think it's time for the Undisputed Era to come up to the main roster. And I think having him win it at WrestleMania is the smarter decision to make. So or at least during WrestleMania weekend. So yeah, I'm gonna say Cole's gonna retain. I just convinced myself.
So I get it. And for that payoff, I would agree with you. But can they sustain Ciampa versus Cole from now till Mania? It's February. Well, it's pretty much March. It's only I think it's the beginning of April. So it's only 4 more episodes. You're right. Yeah,
it's not that much. Yeah, they can do it, man.
All right, so I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna say Cole's gonna retain. Maybe Roderick Strong, maybe UE gets involved. But yeah, ultimately, Ciampa at Mania is a better call. So yes. I'll give it to you.
So we are on the same page throughout the whole entire NXT TakeOver Portland card, guys.
We really
so we both got Dakota Kai is going to pick up the win over Knox. We think it's going to bring out an aggressive new side of Kai. It's really going to legitimize this heel turn that she's had. We have the Undisputed Era versus the Broserweights. We feel that the Broserweights are going to be bros. They're going to pull together. Dude, this match is going to be amazing. First of all, I'm telling you, Broserweights have put on some fucking amazing tag team matches. You watch that Dusty Classic. Phenomenal.
They're gonna
you put them up against the Undisputed Era, it's going to be magic in the ring. Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish doing what he's doing, complimenting the team. Great. We both have Keith Lee retaining over Dijakovic, but it's going to be an awesome match because these guys have put on so many great matches. And we both picked Balor going over Gargano. We think it's a smart decision to make. Maybe they had the payoff at WrestleMania where Gargano finally picks up the win. And then for the Women's Championship, Ripley's going to be winning over Belair, heading on to face the Queen Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, and Cole retaining over Tomato Soup Ciampa.
We did it. Our predictions are over. That's NXT Portland in the house, guys. So we will be jumping on following NXT TakeOver Portland on our Patreon account. I'm going to watch back this YouTube video after we're done recording, make sure it's good. I know we have some audio issues. I know Dez was a lot louder than I was. That's what people are saying in the chat. So we'll try and work that out. I'll try and source it better.
And thank you for the feedback, guys. That's why you are our Talkomaniacs.
Yeah. But yeah, so check us out this Sunday, immediately following NXT TakeOver Portland. We'll jump on Patreon, patreon.com/Talkomania for as little as $1 a month. Be cool. Be like Smart to Death, Boot to the Face, Evan Gomez, and Danny Pond. Evan Gomez has a new podcast, so check them out.
Yeah.
Check them out on fullpresscoverage.com. Check out Boot to the Face. Check out all the good guys.
And also, I saw Rucker is going to be handling a podcast or news for the Dallas Cowboys guys. So if you're interested in that, check it out, man. The guy's a huge fan. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. What else we have to plug? Twitter @_Talkomania, Instagram Talkomania. I want to play some Apex, man. Whatever.
Dude, let's do it, man. Twitch, we got the Valentine's event out. We got duos. Jay, will you be my duo? Will we be on a Valentine's date together in Apex Legends, guys?
I'll be your Valentine.
It's been fun. I've been playing it. I've been getting better. So it's not so sad to watch me play. But I got some dailies to do. I'm excited to jump in the action. Join us, man. If you want to play Twitch, Talkomaniacs, at us, J-Bomb, and Desmina. What are you? Chill J-Bomb? You're Oh Hell Yeah.
Only hell yeah.
Only hell yeah.
All right, guys, go buy some Blue Chew. And on behalf of Talkomania, J-Bomb's out. Des, say bye.
Get some Blue Chew. Promo code Talkomania. Have some sex with your girl. And have a happy Rusev Day.
I don't know. We're still alive.